The third part of the exercise asks that you find and plot the closest disabled parking bay to each of the buildings. So the easiest way to do this is to go out and walk around these buildings, look at the parking spots, and identify a parking bay that's been earmarked for disabled people. Alright, so once you've located that, you can use aerial imagery to help you plot it. So to do that, click on Add Data. Click on the little drop down arrow next to Add Data. See that little drop down arrow there? You want to click on that, and then you want to click on Add Data from ArcGIS Online. So the little drop down arrow and then Add Data from ArcGIS Online. On ArcGIS Online, you will immediately see the South Africa 50 centimeter color imagery data. Okay, so you can just click on Add, and this will take some time as this data is downloaded from the internet, so it might take some time. And once this error is shown, you can just say OK to all, and now you will see aerial imagery being displayed. You can see there will be some differences between the buildings and the aerial imagery. The imagery is not 100% accurate, but at least this will help you to locate the parking bay that you've identified. So you can now scroll around on this image by clicking on the pan tool, this little hand there, and then left click and hold. This will allow you to move around on this map. It might at times take a little while to load. Once you've located the parking bay, let's say for argument's sake, the parking bay that's closest is, let's move around a bit, is the one here. Okay, so you can see this is old imagery. The new building is not displayed here yet, but we can now, I know there's a parking bay around there. Now I just need to plot it, and to map it, you're going to right click on parking bay. You're going to click on Edit Features, click on Start Editing. You can just say Continue if this error is shown, and click on Parking Bay, and then click on the location that you would like to use. So I know there's a parking bay there, so I'm just going to left click it, and there it is now displayed. And now I can say, once it's there, I can say Editor, and I can say Stop Editing, and yes, I would like to save my edits. You can now change the icon or the symbol that's being used to show the parking bay by left clicking on the little dot below parking bay and selecting any symbol that you would like to use. There's a number of symbols that's available. I'm going to use this little handicapped symbol here. You can change the color if you like, to red or to purple, whatever, and you can make it a bit bigger as well, so you can play around with the symbol. I'm selecting that one and I'm saying OK, and now my parking spot is also being displayed on my map. So that's the third part of the question. The final part now is to map the route that can be traveled to these buildings, the shortest route. To do that, you right click on Route, click on Edit Features again, click on Start Editing. Just say Continue again if this error is shown. Click on Route, and then you can start plotting your route. I'm going to start it here at the parking bay. I know there's a walkway here, and more or less I'm going to start to plot out my route. And you do this by just left clicking, moving around. You're moving your mouse and left clicking. Okay, so I'm going to end at this entrance here because it's an accessible entrance, and I'm double clicking it, and now you can see a new route has been added. But I asked in the question that you create routes to both of the buildings. So the next accessible entrance will be that one there. Remember, you need to go out into the field and evaluate the different routes. You need to take notes of which ones will be accessible with a wheelchair. So I'm just gonna, for my shortest route, I'm proposing that you go around this building and in between the two. This will be, in my proposal, the shortest route. So I'm gonna reuse the same one here and just start off, link up to that route there. Here I'm gonna turn between these two buildings. Gonna move there, double click to finalize. And now I've mapped my routes. You can now change the display of the routes as well by left clicking on the line and then selecting a width that you would like to use. I'm going to make it a bit wider so it's more visible, and I'm just going to make my routes, I'm going to make let's select a color here. I'm going to make it a blue color, and to remove this selected light blue color here, you can just click on clear selected features. There's a little button there, clear selected features. Alright, and now my blue route is displayed here. So just to recap, when you're editing the route, you just left click, left click, left click, and once you've finalized, you can double click, and then your route will be displayed. Once you're done, you can click on editor again, and you can say stop editing, and say yes, you would like to save the edits. Now you've captured all the necessary information that's needed to create your map. You can now close the create features box if it's not closed already. You can close the editor tab if it's not closed already. To create the map, we're going to go to the layout view. So for that, click on view and click on layout view. To create your map, each map will be a bit different. So what you would like to do is you would like to zoom into your mapping area. To do that, you're going to use the zoom in or the zoom out tool. So I'm going to left click on zoom in, and now you can left click and drag a little box that you would like to focus on. So it's a left click and drag and then release, and then you will see you zoom into that area there. If you would like to change the layout of your map, you can try to do that, but I would propose just keep it in a portrait orientation, because that will be the easiest for this exercise. Alright, so zoom in so that the whole area is visible. You can turn off the aerial imagery to only display your data, or you can turn it on to have it in the background as well for orientation. Let's rather keep it on. I think it will be better for orientation purposes. So keep your aerial imagery turned on. A final thing, just ensure that your entrances are at the top of your table of contents. So the left click and drag exercise, that it's at the top there, and so that it is visible and being displayed clearly. The final task is for you to add your name to this question. For that, click on insert, click on text, and you will see a little text box added there. Alright, so now you can, once it's added, you can double click on it and you can start to add your text. So your name and student number and friend's name and student number, and then you can say change the symbol, make it a bit larger so that it's nice and visible. So you can select a font and a size and make it bold, for instance, and say apply and see how it looks. Alright, there it is. And once there, you can move it around by left click and dragging it. Left click and drag. Left click and drag. Drag it to the top so that it's nice and visible. So ensure that your names are there, because we need that in order to give you the proper marks for this exercise. And once this is completed, you can click on File, click on Export Map, select a location to which you would like to export it. So I'm going to export it to my C drive, Practical 10, and I'm going to call it Map. You can rather add one of the group members' names here as well. Or I would propose let's use the student numbers. Okay, so use 1, 2, 3, 4. First student number, underscore second student number, and ensure that you save it as a JPEG. So from the save as type, make sure that you select JPEG. Make sure that you click on general and change the resolution to 250. So click on general, resolution 250, and then you can say save, and ensure that you know where, in which folder you're saving this. ArcMap will now export this map that you created to a JPEG file. Which, if you go to your computer and navigate to the relevant folder, you will see a JPEG created with the name that you gave it, and you can double click it and your map will open. Now this is the file that you will need to upload to Efundi for this practical. So upload that JPEG to Efundi for us to assess. Just a few final pointers. I'm going to go back to the data view. I'm just going to turn off the imagery. Let's say the following happens. You lose your data and something happens and you don't see your data on your map. An easy way to locate it again is to right click on any of your layers and click to zoom to layer. You will then zoom to the relevant layer. I've now selected entrances, so the 1, 2, 3, you can see all three are displayed. If I right clicked on low accessibility, zoom to layer, it would zoom to this one. So this can help you to locate, and then you can use the zoom out tool, left click and drag, or just click it to zoom out to find your data again. Another way is to click on the little button that says full extent. Alright, so then you should be able to start seeing your data, but now you need to zoom into it again. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in until you find it. So the easiest way is select one of the data sets and say zoom to layer, find it, and then just zoom out until you see everything that you need to see on your map. Good luck with this exercise. This is your first introduction to GIS. I hope you enjoy it, and looking forward to seeing all of the different results.